on the News Channel 5 network. This is Open Line.
Well, good evening and welcome into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long, glad to be along with you for the next hour, especially because for the next hour, we're going to be asking the expert. Our expert tonight, Mr. Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. So your legal questions. Every time Kevin's on, I'm telling you, the phones just go crazy. But I can understand because people sitting at home, they've got a lot of questions. They don't have somebody to ask these legal questions about. I mean, whether you're talking criminal law, personal injury, injured in a car wreck,
bankruptcy, you name it, it affects all of us all the time, Chuck.
It does. Now, of course, Kevin, I know you got a lot of loyal viewers out there, and they watch for you to come on. They wait for you to come on.
See them out.
But when we get the new folks that are tuning in for the first time, so tell us a little bit about the Kennedy Law Firm, because it's a special law firm.
Okay, well, the Kennedy Law Firm, we have 3 locations there in Clarksville. We have the Kennedy Center. That's just outside Fort Campbell Army Base, 33,000 soldiers in and out of there, and that's on a big boulevard there in Clarksville. Then we have the Wilma Rudolph Boulevard location, and that's the biggest boulevard that goes through the heart of Clarksville off the I-24. And then my main office, they call it headquarters sometimes, is downtown, the Kennedy Building, right in front of the courthouse. So I've been a lawyer now 34 years, and what have I learned in 34 years? You're going to learn something new every day. They said, well, how is that? Because they change the law all the time. And then a new law comes down and different judges have interpreted it. And so if it can be interpreted against you, it will. And loose lips sink ships. So we should think about those problems. And that's why I love this show. We can talk, get a little information. Knowledge is power, Chuck. So if we have the right knowledge, we are in power. And use it to protect yourself and your family, your church members, your loved ones, people in your social clubs. All those are beneficial to everyone, and so that's why I really love this. The Kennedy Law Firm, of course, we handle everything from criminal charges. And you say, well, I'm not a criminal. You never know when that sneaks up on you and one of your family members, and I say, here, don't say anything. And run to the Kennedy Law Firm. And why do I say that so often? Because we can make a big difference. If it happened to you and I tonight, we leave and we're pulled over and there's a big misunderstanding, then you would really like it that you had us to help you get through that. Anybody can be charged anytime. Anyone can be sued for anything. Didn't say it's going to stick, but I did say that you can be sued. And so working your way through the system does make a big, big difference in everyone's life.
Well, and I think a lot of people also think, how do I go up against the big guy? How do I go up against the insurance company? How do I go up against the hospital?
Well, really, lawyers are the last vestige of justice. So you can have one lawyer and he can stand up, and you're right, the insurance companies go to the cities, the biggest buildings owned by the banks and they're well entrenched. They have many, many lawyers. And so it does make a difference when you have somebody that says, look, I've got the law and we can stand up to that. We're going to stand up. That's not right. That's injustice. And you know what I see more and more, Chuck, these are the trends that come forward that we're dealing with, where the big corporations we want to be treated fair, but they're not treating us fair. So then you have to advance your cause or you miss out. If you sit on your rights, you really have no rights at all.
And if you wonder what those rights are, I mean, this is what is so great about this particular hour, is you can enlighten people as to what their rights are, whether it has to do with time periods or what they do when something happens.
You know, Chuck, when we get a phone call, I'll guarantee you there's at least 10,000 other people that are listening. But they, for whatever reason, whether you're inhibited a little bit, I don't really want to ask a question and sound foolish. You know, I experienced that myself when I went through the law school. But I overcame that shyness and say praise the Lord. But I'm encouraging everyone, don't let that hold you back, because you're helping lots of people when you do ask.
Absolutely. And our phone's already busy, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the lines. When you have that question or that comment, make sure you get in so that we can get to those calls as soon as possible. We're going to the first caller tonight. John is with us. Welcome, John. We're glad you're watching. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yeah, I got my brother, and we both was on a deed to his house.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out, can he take my name off the deed of the house without me knowing it?
Okay.
he's trying to think that I'm ripping him off.
All right, here you go. In the state of Tennessee, there's several ways that the deeds are written. Tenants by the entirety, that's usually a husband and wife. Or tenants in common, that would be where Chuck and I went and bought a shopping center together. I can't take his name off. If a document appeared and Chuck said, hey, guess what? I didn't sign that. It's supposed to be notarized. And so then we could always file a petition, say that was fraud, and that could be set aside. You know, a lot of people say, well, golly, Kevin, my kid was driving my car and he had a wreck and the insurance is only $25,000, but the people are hurt. So what do we do? Go talk to a lawyer, because your personal assets could be at risk. I don't sell insurance. I recommend try to get an umbrella policy. Let's take a proactive approach. Pick up the phone. Say, what can we do? Because there's things we can do now that can help you.
Okay, good advice.
They can't get that without your signature.
All right, John, thank you so much for calling in. First call that we had tonight. We're going right back to the phones, and again, as predicted, our phones get very busy, but we want to be able to get to as many calls as possible tonight, so we urge you to get on the line with us as soon as possible. We're going back to the lines. Ruth is with us. Ruth, good evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I have a comment.
All right,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Kennedy.
How you doing?
I met you the other day in the office.
Oh, well, that's sweet of you to call in tonight. Thank you.
I just wanted to say hi. And did you get your bracelet fixed on your boots?
I did. You were with me in there. Thank you. Yeah, that was great. I broke one of the bracelets I had on this boot that day. And you're very kind and sweet, and we appreciate you calling. Thank you so much. You were a joy in the office. You're a joy on the phone.
Thank you so much, Ruth. That's terrific. So we appreciate your call. We're going right back to the lines right now. So Alfred is on the line with us. Alfred, do you have a question or comment for Kevin?
Yes, Kevin. It's an elder abuse law.
All right.
Know a little bit about the law that just went in effect about abuse of elderly people.
Yes.
I have a problem with a neighbor that has pepper sprayed me, and right now he's on probation for that.
Yes.
But we have other neighbors that have got the same have other charges on him.
Wow.
For different things. Can they actually have him arrested and it count for the same thing as elder abuse?
Well, let me say this. You know, if he pepper sprayed someone, and this sounds like a bully, and you know what, Chuck? It reminds me, if you don't stand up for your neighbor, one day you won't have anybody to stand up for you.
Exactly.
And strong people stand up for themselves, and stronger people stand up for others. And thank you for calling in. That is a crime against the state of Tennessee. No one likes a bully. No one will tolerate a bully. You can have the police have them charged and arrested and prosecuted. You can talk to the district attorney. They don't want that because it's going to breach the peace, and pretty soon it'll get out of hand and someone's hurt seriously or killed. So you take a proactive approach in dealing with that person.
All right. Again, great advice, Alfred. Thank you so much for calling in this evening. And, you know, and if you're watching too, I know this is one of the things that we really like to help people with. Sometimes maybe it's a friend or a family member. They have the questions. They're not there to ask right now. So you can ask for them. So this is the hour. If you're just tuning in, it's Ask the Expert. It's Ask the Attorney this evening. We're talking with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. Right back to the lines right now. Wanda is on the line with us. Wanda, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I do, and this is also along the lines of elder abuse.
Okay.
And I would be speaking of my own situation. It's very involved, but my question is, I would like to call one of the state agencies, but I'm afraid that I would trigger an investigation.
You probably would.
Sorry?
You probably will. If you have an elder abuse situation, you know, that's why we have government agencies to supervise that. And if there's something wrong going on, you know, again, it always costs money, but these agencies are there to investigate and to protect. Public policy wants to protect children, and they want to protect the elderly. And if there's abuse going on, absolutely. Now, it also brings in civil liabilities. If that is going on, you can document it, you can bring a lawsuit, and you can be compensated for those things.
Well, this situation would not give rise to a lawsuit, and the problem is that I'm afraid that by making the contact, it would affect me. I would be worse off than I am.
Okay, and I'm glad that you're saying that you recognize there's risk in everything you do. Again, you know, it's just like child abuse. If you knew that there was child abuse, we're under an obligation to report it, and you're never going to get anything corrected unless somebody reports it. So I recognize your particular situation, and you'll just have to evaluate it. Perhaps talk to someone privately that has more time to go with the facts, and they might guide you a little more effectively.
All right, good to know. So Wanda, thank you so much for calling in this evening. Now, what in general, I mean, is there a trend to certain cases that you see more of now?
Elder abuse is going up like crazy. Why? Because our population is aging. Why? Because, you know, 100 years ago, you just kept the elderly in the family home. Well, that's not realistic because both parties are working. So that's why you're seeing an increase. And so elder abuse, we see some horrific cases. When they bring the photos in, I said, really?
Wow.
And so somebody needs to stand up and do something about it.
Okay, well, that is good to know. So it's also good to know that somebody needs to stand up and do something about it.
Absolutely.
All right, we appreciate the calls coming in so far. We are going to take a short break, but when we come back, more calls with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. So if you have those legal questions or comments, make sure you get online with us here on Open Line. We'll be right back after this.
Thanks.